So
Kristine Baker, welcome to Empower Network TV. And I'm excited to hear. I've been looking forward to this. So, how are we going to start your story, Kristine? You have quite the history.
well, let your light shine, let your love shine. Okay. I was I got involved in all this as a child. I mean, I knew different things and I felt very sensitive to the environment. I was very happy, as I was telling you, to grow up on a farm because it was peaceful and quiet and I had space. I had a large family supporting me all the time. And I could always go to the city when I got older, but it's harder for people in the city to get to the country. So this was, I was born in 49. So that was a long time ago when things were really quiet and peaceful. But the house I grew up in had been in my mother's family for over 100 years. And I would sit and look at the window, out the window on the second floor, and think of the carriages going by and the wagons, horse-drawn wagons going by. And I had this thought, there's got to be more to life. 7 years or 70 years isn't enough to experience everything there is in life. There's got to be something more, like more lifetimes. And when I was about 14, I grew up in the Methodist church, and we went regularly. My grandmother helped found the church. But I was sitting listening when I was about 14 to the minister, and there was a beautiful portrait of Jesus above the podium where he was standing. And teenagers get distracted and all that. I had this thought. It felt like Jesus talking to me, saying, I'm not about what he's talking. My message was love one another as I have loved you. And that's been my guiding light. I'm Kristine Baker. I'm sorry, it's spelled with a K, but it's still the Christ within me. And so I've always had to examine what that is for me. What does that mean for me? And also at a teenage retreat, I said, someone was asking about heaven and hell, and I said, I think heaven and hell are right here. I've seen people in hell. I've seen people in heaven. It's right here. It's not someplace out there. So these were the beginning questions. Where's God? What's the universe? Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I different? As a driving around the plaza as a teenager, I went, oh, there's got to be something more to life than this, than chasing boys. So just a few of the main things I remember. But when I was 22, I did get introduced to my guardian angels, to the fact that I'm a soul with a physical body, not a physical body with a soul, and that there is more to life, that we have extrasensory perception. I was reading Edgar Cayce at the time, who was, one of the leading, the sleeping prophet. And when I heard somebody saying, you have ESP, or extrasensory perception, I went, I want to know more. And that was the introduction to a program that was founded by a man named Francisco Cole. And it was called the Inner Peace Movement, because he believed that world peace comes from helping people to find their own inner peace. And that was the theme of, as a soul, we come in with a theme, we come in with a mission, a passion, something that we want to do. We know that it's there, but we get overlaid by all the social programming and the you shoulds and I was brought up in the generation where you got married and you had children and you were a wife. And that never happened for many years. But this fueled my desire to share with people that you can let your light shine. You have the answers within. You are a unique being and a unique soul. And I just went into it as my mission. My career has been people, not any particular service, process, company, organization. Everywhere I go, all the different jobs that I've done has been learning from people, sharing with people, and sharing my love with people. Any questions? I could go on
Yeah,
and on and
lots. So, when did you first start to realize that because we're all raised in systems. To me, I see it like training wheels. And every, well, a lot of kids, now they got rid of the training wheels. They got those glide bikes, which are brilliant for little 2 and 3 year olds there's no pedals. They just balance with their legs. But for everyone growing up 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever years ago, there's training wheels. When did you first realize that the training wheels, the systems we have, are there to point us in, let's say, a general direction, but not to stay, not to leave on the bike for 60 years?
Well, um, there's science. I have a biology degree. I went to college. I studied biology. I studied the miracle of the beauty of nature, of bodies, of the ecology, how we're all connected. Everything is really a miracle. I mean, when you see the embryo, two cells that become these people, that was what was important to me. And also, then religions are systems to pass on one person's enlightenment, and it gets watered down. And people nowadays say I'm more spiritual than religious. Well, religious is a system, it's an institution. And spiritual means I have the actual experience. I've had the experience of the joy, of the ecstasy, of the being out of my body briefly. So that was all those things were coming together in my early 20s. But in my 30s was when I realized that um, there's a system and a structure for us to be here, but that's just to protect us. Our parents do the best they can to protect us with the rules and regulations they have. Society does the best they can to protect us with the rules and regulations and help us to fit in, because some people respect themselves a lot and some people respect themselves very little. And so by realizing where we are on that scale, we can learn to live and let live. And that is saying, I'm going to let myself be myself, and I'll let you be yourself. Now, the more we're not letting ourselves be ourselves, the more judgmental we tend to be towards other people, I've found. Now, I only have trouble when I'm being judgmental of myself. Then I get cranky at other people because they're not living up to my expectations. So, the structure of life is the game we play to get along. But if you're living in an isolated place, you don't have to have as much structure as when you live in a big city, for instance. I mean, I don't know if I'm answering your questions, but these are the things that I've put together. We get overwhelmed by all the things we learned that we should do and we shouldn't do and all that. And getting older is learning to go, that's not as important as I thought it was. That's not as important because we've tried it out. We've learned something.
You find your circle has changed over the years with people you jive with, or don't jive with?
Um, I'm an empathic kind of feeling kind of person. And so I met a woman one time on a bus in Washington, D.C., and I don't know what she said, but she sat down next to me, and I was having sort of a not so great day. And our conversation, by the time it was time for me to get off the bus, I had changed. My energy had shifted. And I took from that the lesson that people just want to be seen, they want to be noticed. And if wherever I go, I can, say a positive thing, project a positive energy, give a smile to a clerk, to someone who's pumping gas next to me. I'm open to let whatever wants to come through to maybe be a little message for them, to be a little bit of hope for them. So that's the way I approach people, is that they're there for a lesson for me, and what can I do to shine a little light for them. And I as an empath, I can read their mood. So I read their mood, and maybe the clerk is a little um, frowning and down in the dumps, and so that's what I do as a way of selecting the people that I'm with, and I try to be as open as possible. Sometimes I have gotten burned out. That was what happened with my being in the inner peace movement for so many years, was that I was about giving and I wasn't doing enough for myself. And I didn't realize that I was letting my emotional side be too emotional, be too affected by other people, be too trying to please and do the right thing. And had stepped from within to the outside. I'd made the outside people around me more important than myself. And I think a lot of women and sensitive people get caught in that, trying to please other people or uh, do the right thing, uh, get the right status. It's all outer motivated. And so to me, the healing has been, since I moved to Santa Fe, I started healing by realizing I had experienced 9 significant deaths in my life by the time I was 50, including my mother, my father. My mother had a stillborn baby. My spiritual teacher had died. All the people I'd been associated with that organization were now scattered, and a boyfriend had died. So I had to first begin to work with healing my own grief at the first 50 years of my life and what I'd done, and to start to set a new tone for the next 50 years. So I did go to different groups. I had been with the Inner Peace Movement, which is now called Wayshowers College. And so then I worked with grief support for children and became a facilitator at a grief center, helping children to get over the death of loved ones. And then I discovered Power versus Force, the Map of Consciousness by David R. Hawkins. And it showed emotions in a scale and why we get caught in these emotions and what to do to get out of them. And I had heard about emotions being a part of the intellect. That's what we've learned. But I needed more details. Feeling kind of people need more details. So I needed the details of why I got caught and what the frequency of these emotions are. And so what the frequency of the emotions I wanted to be in would be. So, yes, my circles of friends and people that I've been associated with have changed as I um, needed different inputs for myself. Another group that I worked with was called Real Love, and it was about learning how we exchange praise, power, pleasure, and safety and think that's love, but it's not unconditional love. You tell me how much you love me and how pretty I am, and I'll love you forever. You give me a sense of power and safety, and I'll love you forever. So I just was putting together all the things that I'd learned in the first 50 years and putting it into what would work for me in the next, hopefully 50 years, maybe. And finding a way to help people get out of feeling scattered, get out of feeling drained, get out of feeling too overburdened helping others, and to become more loyal to their own inner message, their own inner um, talents, their own inner desires, so that there was more of a balance in their life of the intellect, which is the systems of planet Earth, and the feelings, which is the joy and the compassion and the caring that we can be a part of.
Thank you for sharing all that. And I want to ask you then, so like, okay, so because you said, I don't know if we were on air or not, but you said you're 72. So at 72, what drives you? Because you ever seen those interviews of people that are like 100 years old, 96, 106, and they're like, this is what I do if I could do my life over. And at 20, we all have our ideals at 18, 20, 21, and then life doesn't really happen the way for most people, the way they think at 18, 19. But at your your season of life, what matters most? What do you want to not finish this cycle of this lifetime without doing? What is in your sights, Christine?
Well, I am actually, I just turned 74 yesterday, day before yesterday, yeah. The 15th. And my parents both died at age 62. So I've got 12 years on both my mother and my father that I have got continued to get to experience life. And I went through some ups and downs and a period of feeling like I might as well just die, you know. It's like I've done a lot. I've been of service to people for nearly 50 years, and so, but I had this dream that I had a video that went viral, and it impacted a whole lot of people. And here I am connecting with Network TV. And I have some videos of talks that I have done in the past. And I'm slowly learning how to make a YouTube channel and uh, make the Canva covers for those videos and start to have a presence because I see these other women and men who have gone viral with their message, and I just want to share with the world. Let's shine our light. You know, we need more love. The reason that there is so many different kinds of conflicts is that we've lost our respect for ourselves and respect for life and respect for nature. And that's the underlying problem in the world, is we've forgotten that we are one with nature. The beauty that I see in the fall trees, Spirit told me one day when I was walking in the woods, is the beauty I have inside. I wouldn't see that beauty if I didn't have that beauty inside. And wherever we are, when we see love being expressed by other people, you know, I got in a relationship at age 69. And so this is the longest I was doing so much for others. I didn't ever find Mr. Right. So I found a pretty good Mr. Right. And what I see in him, I have in myself. I'm learning about myself in this relationship. I waited until I was able to give unconditional love to somebody else with no expectations. And we're pretty good at that. And so that keeps me going every day and seeing what that will bring. You know, this is how can I express more love? Every day I've done workshops with, I go to a Unity church and I've done workshops with the people at Unity. I have one-on-ones with people all the time. Balanced life mentoring is what I call what I do, mentoring. I'm an ordained minister, but I'm also a spiritual consultant. And so I just call it helping people see that they have all their answers inside. I'm also a really good fix-it person, but I try to tone that down. I can't fix anybody. Nobody needs to be fixed. Nobody needs to be changed. We're all great people. We need to just learn to love our ups and downs. We can change them faster. Learn to know that just by being, breathing, breathing 3 or 4 times a day, you can recenter yourself in your heart and calm down and reconnect with your divine inspiration. It's easy, but it takes letting go of resistance, letting go of the programming that we have to be somebody, and accept our imperfections and love ourselves and love others. I started to say the way I got into my relationship was I looked at other couples that were my age, and I saw that they were having a good connection, a good love, and I said, I can have that too. I can have that too. Congratulations for you. Instead of feeling jealous about it, I can do that too. I can do what you're doing, making an impact in the world my way. You know, what we see in others, we have in ourselves. We may just not have unfolded it yet.
It's one of the greatest things I'm currently learning is everything that irritates me about others is somehow residing in me. I've not made peace with that energy or something.
Well, this is the way I say that. What I see in others that irritates me, I do that too, but I do it with more style.
That's funny.
I have my
That's
own style.
that's funny.
You can't get hard on yourself. There's no benefit in giving yourself a hard time.
How do you love yourself through those trying times where you watch yourself shit the bed and you're like, okay, that's not something I really want to carry forward. And you realize I don't want to shame myself because it clearly did that choice for a reason. How do you love yourself in those moments?
Oh, well, perseverance. I had to learn perseverance a long time ago, and there was a I think it was Teddy Roosevelt quote that I used to have on my wall, and of course I don't remember it anymore because I don't need it as much anymore. But it is self-forgiveness. I'm human. We came here as bright lights of soul energy to get into a physical body because we wanted to have the experience. We wanted to make mistakes. In spirit, you don't have the physical senses, you don't have the emotional senses, you don't have the ability to touch and hold and hug and taste and see and feel. So we come here and get a body to be our spacesuit to walk around in this world and interact with each other. If I didn't have a body, you couldn't hear me as near as well as you can when you have ears and I have a mouth and we speak. So, yes, it looks like suffering, but we're all joy inside, excited about having these experiences. And when we die, that joy is released and that suffering is released because this is really just a blink of an eye in the time span of eternity. And so by keeping that big picture that this is a game, it's a serious game because it is, but everything that I do is, well, I'll tell you the experience that where I really got this. At age 62, I was home on the farm. My brother asked me to help him harvest. Oh, boy, I didn't work on the farm as a kid. So at age 62, I get in a 350 horsepower tractor pulling a 500 bushel wagon as he's combining in the Midwest. And sitting there one evening, waiting for him to come and unload his hopper in my wagon, I had this download. It was it was physical, mental, total encompassing inner vision that everything in my life that I had done was just perfect. If I had upset somebody, if they had upset me, if I had had a joy, if I had done everything was as it was supposed to have been. And it that just totally washed over me. I had always wanted to have a near death experience, but I didn't want to die. So this was like a short version of a life review right there on the farm. And I don't know why it happened, but that helped me to realize that I could forgive myself for everything because it was helpful to the other person. It was helpful to me when they did things that were unpleasant to me. It was helpful to my soul growth. And so, Amos, I see that as the thing. When you keep the big picture that we chose our life, we made contracts. I've studied because so many people died when I was younger. I've studied life after death, near death experiences, and I know that there is nothing to fear about death because we are eternal life beings inside. And that this experience, from my experience, I mean, you can't ever prove this. From my experience, I talk to people who I have friends who have passed on, and they come and have greeted me. My parents have come and greeted me. And there's my dog wanting to go out. Um, so I have no fear. And that's the key. Keep the big picture. Can you hear my dog? I'll shut the
Yeah,
door.
yeah, the dog's adamant he's or he or she.
She's a 5-pound Chihuahua
Got a lot to
with a
say.
big heart. She does. Her brother's just come from home from his walk. He's a 95-pound pit bull.
Okay. 95-pound pit bull with a 5-pound chihuahua. Does she run him around?
Yeah, she's pretty good at belsing him.
Okay. I love what you said there, that everything is perfect. I look back at my life, maybe others do too, and the things I once was felt chagrined about, or what, a loathing, whether towards myself or someone else. I now look back and I go, it's like a tapestry. You flip it around and the tapestry is all those messy strings, but you turn it around and
Mm-hmm.
the picture makes total sense, but the back of it looks like a hot mess. And I'm seeing that in my own life, like all the things I'm tempted to call bad, label, oh, that's, oh, poor me, poor you. Oh, the dog died. Your child went through this. Your partner died. Your mom died. It's like, hang on. I saw that front and center when my mom died. It's like I had so many blessings come after my mom died. And my mom came back and visited me 3 times after she died. And it blew my mind that could even happen. And the dog was in the room for one of them freaking out because it picked up on the energy. And then my mom came and told me something, and mother, like, I'm like, okay, so this is, you can't just wrap life up in this little box, that you get handed when you're 16 years old and go, this is the way life is. You grow out of the box or else you stay stunted.
Mm-hmm. I glad you brought up the word tapestry because that's what I've come to believe, that people are either puzzle pieces in our life. They fulfill some little piece as they come into their life, whether it's for a moment, a day, a season, many years. They are a part of our overall puzzle or the tapestry. Every person we meet is a part of the threads of the tapestry of our life because they impact us in one way or another. Even if it's, for a moment, the grocery store guy who said my hair was beautiful, or the attendant at the car place who did the window wiper change with no complaints. We're all so blessed. And there are troubles. There's pain everywhere. But pain is a sign that we're alive.
I'm reading or listening to a book called Parallel Universe of Self, and he's in the audiobook, and he's talking about give thanks for the pain, give thanks for the agitation, because it helps you realize what you don't want. It's actually a gift. You need that contrast to send you back towards what you do want. And so this, my world's getting rocked being a part of this network. I'm just so thankful you're here, Kristine Baker. You're a
I'm glad to
gift.
be here.
Did so
And
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
takes one, it takes one to know one. It takes a gift person to know a gift person.
Love it.
I'm grateful for you too. In other words.
Thank you. Well, any closing thoughts about letting your love shine?
Well, I wish I was still in Iowa. I'm from Illinois and Iowa, and I was there in August. I usually go in October. I hear you're going to be in Des Moines, and I wish you well there. And yeah, let your light shine. Um, we think that love is a mystery. We think that it's hard, it's something out there. But the more I get quiet inside, the more I experience stillness, the more I step out in nature, the more I hug my dog, and the more I appreciate myself and everything that I do, the more I'm able to appreciate other people. It's like putting on, there's that old song about rose-colored glasses, but I'm just putting on love-colored glasses. I just look for the love in a situation, and you get what you look for. If you look for the trouble, if you look for what you think needs to be changed, that's what you see more of. But if you look for what's there that's true and that's beautiful, I just love to see babies in stores, and I make eye contact and I make googly faces, whatever, to acknowledge them because they're young souls taking the chance to try out this life on planet Earth. And I just send them all the love I can. So it's a choice. We can choose love. Shine your light.
I love what you said. You always get what you search for in life. When I was miserable, I kept seeing things that are miserable around me. And then when I decided not to be miserable and to stop complaining, I just started seeing more and more beauty. It was there the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I just had the wrong glasses on.
It's always there. There's peace on earth. Go to the woods.
Ooh, I like that.
Peace
There
on
is
earth
peace
is
on
in
earth.
the woods. Yeah, there is. But, you know, expand it. Expand it within yourself. That's where you can start. That's where I started, was the inner peace movement. And so I just keep refining that. Be more inner peace.
Thank you for being in Empower Network TV. I always enjoy, I've seen 2 of your ripples now. I always enjoy your ripples. And I'm
Now
excited
I'm
to
thinking of
see.
doing a song one.
You
Now
should.
I'm thinking of doing one with a song.
You should. And I'm looking forward to seeing one or more of your videos on some platform or our platform or wherever go viral.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Amos. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
My pleasure, Kristine. We'll chat soon. Thanks everyone for watching Empower Network TV. Please connect with Kristine. If any of this then resonates with you, she'd love to connect with you. Ciao for now, Kristine.
Ciao.